Welcome back, family, friends, and fans. It is Carmen Lately. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Today we're going to be doing a quick update. I think I'm going to try to do an update every month, one or two updates every month, because this is like an ever-changing situation and I'm very proactive with what's going on with my body. So I am constantly doing different things and I want to update you on all the things that I'm doing. The last time I spoke about Parosmia to the channel was in October and it is now December. I just finished a COVID study, which I'm going to show you what the results were and explain to you what you're looking at. Before I do that, I just kind of want to give you the update of what's been going on since we last spoke. What I left off on was that I had seen a Parosmia specialist, Dr. Jonathan Overdevest, up at Columbia Presbyterian, and he's the Parosmia specialist there, and he's an ear, nose, and throat doctor, and he basically prescribed a nasal spray called Xhance, which I was gonna talk about it, but I think it's better that you guys see what I'm talking about. So this is the spray. This is what it looks like. And obviously it's not a cure-all. It's not definitive if this is going to help. It may or may not help me. This is where we're at. So the spray is very unusual in that you basically have to so you have to use it upright this way. This part goes in your nose and this part in your mouth, and you are to blow while at the same time pushing up the spray after you've shaken it, pushing up the spray so that your breath is pushing the spray up to your olfactory, because your olfactory neurons are here. This is where your damage is. And so the goal of this is to push the solution up over here. And it's pretty unusual. I thought that was a great idea, and I've been using it consistently once a day. I don't know enough. I think it's still too soon for me to comment on anything that's happening directly because of this spray. But it was through Dr. Overdevest that I was able to do this COVID study. Now, we had Thanksgiving. I have not updated you guys on what happened for Thanksgiving. So for Thanksgiving, we decided, one of my sisters decided she was gonna cook Thanksgiving dinner at her home, and then everyone was going to get together at her son's home, my nephew's home, to eat the food. Now, I sent my daughters over there, they ate, everybody ate, it was good. I didn't go. The goal was to air out the apartment for a couple of hours after they ate so that I can go. When I got there, even before they opened the door, I could smell it. But when they opened the door, it was pretty rancid. And I knew that I wasn't going to be able to be there for Thanksgiving. It was like, so I went all the way to the window, stuck my head as close out as I could so that I could get some air. And then I held my breath, waved at everyone, and walked out. So I got this idea and I said, you know what? I'm just gonna pinch my nose. Let me, hang out with the family. And I did just that. I pinched my nose. I stayed all night, actually. I didn't stay for just a few minutes. I stayed for a couple of hours. Sometimes when I was talking, I could taste it a little bit. And so there were moments where people would see me not talking. I was just enjoying the family energy and just like, you know, being with everyone. I love my family so much, and it was just so nice to be in their presence for Thanksgiving, especially because last year we did a Zoom Thanksgiving. So it was just like, oh my gosh, it was just nice to be in a holiday with your family. Well, as a result of that move that I made, the little pinching of the nose thing, as soon as I left, I unpinched my nose and all the smell was just there. It was in my mouth. It was in my nose. It was just, I felt like it was on me. It was just, I could smell it. And then putting on the mask felt redundant because it was like I was keeping the smell locked in. So I was so uncomfortable. I didn't know if I should have the mask on or not. So I just took the mask off and I was like, oh my gosh. So I was so tired. I didn't eat anything when I got home. I didn't drink anything. I think I maybe had some water and I went to bed. When I woke up the next day, long story short, when I woke up the next day, I was not able to eat all of my normal foods. My normal foods would be my mac and cheese or my cacio e pepe. Those would be my pasta and my smoothies. Everything tasted rancid. Everything tasted intolerable. I was scared because I was like, did this move now set me back where I'm not going to be able to eat, like where things are going to get worse? And like, what am I going to eat? Am I going to end up like some of the, more severe situations where people are in feeding tubes? So, as it turned out, after 24 hours, was it roughly about 24 hours? So the next day at some point, I was starting to feel normal again. And I was able to eat my food. If I could be blatantly honest, even the next day, there was still some residual. But then the following day, officially after 48 hours, it was completely gone. So after 24 hours, I knew that I was getting better. Moral of the story for me, I'm only sharing my experience in case maybe you guys have some similarities, or it helps you in any way, or just being able to relate and identify with someone is so important during this time. But for me, doing that was a setback. Do I regret it? I don't. I don't regret it because it was so warm. It was so warm to be with my family and to enjoy the time with them. It was the price I had to pay to the party gods, and I paid it. But it's a lesson to be learned, and so it's something that I know that I shouldn't do again, because I believe that it set me back. I believe that it did set me back. So what I want to say is that covering your nose can help maybe temporarily, but I don't know about the quality of life that would be, and I also don't know what that's doing, which is why a lot of the specialists, well, all of the specialists that I've seen, all of the videos that I've seen, people are just saying, do not be near the smells that are making you suffer or making you uncomfortable. You just need to stay away, because being around it, it's not just the quality of your life, it is affecting your olfactory. Your olfactory is basically saying, what is this distortion? I'm confused. That's what's happening to me anyway. Definitely a lesson to be learned. And now, without further ado, I want to go over my COVID study, the Parosmia, Anosmia COVID study results with you. I'm going to put it up on the screen and explain to you what you're looking at. The disclaimer, well, I'll tell you about the disclaimer at the end. But the first thing that you guys need to know, the first three, the threshold, discrimination, and identification, those first three are the TDI, and that's a general score of your actual sense of smell. Then you have the hedonic perceptions, and this will determine how pleasant, this shows them how pleasant or unpleasant a scent was. So it's usually used to test out distortion or parosmia. Now that's the hedonic perception. The percentiles are helpful in differentiating your sense of smell and how it relates to other people that don't have a smell disorder or any known smell disorders. So for example, if you're in the 75th percentile, you can see the percentiles row there. For example, if you score in the 75th percentile in threshold, it indicates that you smell better than 75% of people. If you're in the 50th percentile, then that's an average result. For that one, I'm in the 14th percentile. Now for the TDI score is basically taking those three, the threshold, determination, and the identification, putting that score in one. If you score below the 10th percentile, if your scores are below the 10th percentile, it's indicating a quantitative olfactory dysfunction. And in other words, it would be hyposmia or anosmia. Hyposmia is when your ability to detect odors is reduced. Anosmia is when you have a complete lack of smell and flavor. And if I could be honest, there are still a couple of things that I can't taste fully, but they're very few. Majority of them are in the hyposmia range, where I can taste it somewhat, Hedonic scores below the 10th percentile indicate parosmia or phantosmia. Parosmia is a smell distortion, meaning smelling something that might be good. Smelling something that's should be good and you're smelling it and it's bad. So like a distorted smell. And then phantosmia is smelling something that's actually not there. The hedonic direction score, that shows whether you tend to perceive smells to be better or worse than they actually are. And I'm scoring on that one at a 21%. So the hedonic scores determine the parosmia or phantosmia. So now, so as you can see, those scores for me are showing both the hyposmia and the parosmia. And then their disclaimer is basically that these tests are helpful, but they don't always accurately reflect what an individual is experiencing. It was a confusing thing for me because it does matter what you're being tested on, like what you're actually being tested on to smell. So there were some smells that I was able to identify based on what they actually smell like. Because like I said, I have been getting better with perfumes and essential oils. And so anything in the like spice kind of category or essential oils or like flower kind of category, I think I might have done a lot better. But then when I'm being tested on foods, say for example, I smelled what I thought could be garlic. So I smelled garlic. And so it was very interesting. It was like, basically it was like a marker like this. And he just takes off the top and then you smell whatever it is. And you know, you don't know what it is. Most of the time my eyes were closed anyway. And I didn't have to do this because he just like would bring it to me. So I would just stay there and he'd bring it to me and I'd smell it. But it was these like kind of markers. And so I would smell. So I smelled one time and I was like, whoa. I was like, I don't know if that's garlic or onions. I was like, based on how strong it is, I'm pretty sure it's garlic. And then he handed me a piece of paper with 4 options and onions wasn't there, but garlic was. So I was like, oh, definitely garlic. But I'm not identifying garlic for what it really smells like. I'm identifying garlic for the distorted smell. Again, with coffee and chocolate, I was like, I don't know if that's coffee or chocolate. I know that their distorted smell is very similar, but then when he handed me the paper, only coffee was there, and I was like, oh, so then it's definitely coffee, you know, but not because I'm smelling coffee. But I did bring this up to him after, and he told me that that really didn't affect the scores. And yeah, so that is what I found out. I saw my range and it does look like it's pretty accurate. It's far below the 50th percentile. So I know I have some work that has to get done, but I'm gonna continue with the acupuncture, which I temporarily stopped, but I'm gonna start again in January. So I'm gonna continue with the acupuncture. I'm still doing the yoga, which has been so life-changing for me. Please try to do yoga at home and continue with the meditation. That's what I've been really taking care of so far. I still have not done the vestibular rehab for the vertigo, although the vertigo has been almost completely gone. So I don't know if I will. I almost feel like I want to use that referral and do like some sort of aquatic therapy and like get some water time, but I don't know. In the meantime, I just wanted to give you guys that update. Hopefully it helps anybody that's out there. I wanted to share with you what I've been experiencing. I'm thinking that yeah, the next time I give you an update for Parosmia is going to be in January, so I hope that I have better news. I don't have any changes. I'm still only really eating my shakes, my Revive Superfood Smoothie Shakes. I have a video showing you guys how to do it. I'm still waiting for Revive to tell me whether or not they would like to partner with me. And the other thing that I'm having is a cheesy pasta. And so I tend to have the pasta between anywhere between 12 and 4 p.m. And then I have my smoothie anytime before 6. And I try not to have my smoothie after that. My snacks have not been working. The fig bars I can't have anymore. They don't taste good anymore. So I don't know if it was from that whole Thanksgiving covering my nose debacle, or if it was from the smell study, or if it was from this. It's all super confusing, so I'm not too sure, but that's why I'm not going to do the pinching of the nose, so that I can make sure that I have a handle on where I'm at with all my smells and everything. There's a lot to maintain, but I'm here with you guys. If you have any questions, please feel free not only to comment below, but also to hit me on my karmaspieces@gmail, which I always try to link in the description. If I forget, you can find it in another video. But yeah, hit me up through email. I am more than willing to chat more about this, as I am just as intrigued and fascinated by it as you guys might be. I know that we're going through it, some of us. It still is mind-blowing, and it's a scientific thing, and it's an equation, and it needs to be solved. And so I want to be a part of the answers and a part of the solution. And I hope that you guys found this helpful, useful in any kind of way. Please stay tuned for the next update for all my Parosmia followers. The next update is coming in a month. And if you want to entertain your brain, I have plenty of different activities that you guys can try to follow along in my tutorials. Just check out the playlist. I have tutorials for so many different types of art and crafts that I'm sure you'll be able to find something. So other than that, I hope that everyone has a wonderful Christmas and a blessed new year, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Now remember, I am still doing my weekly videos. I'm just kind of signing off to all the people that are following me for Parosmia. I will be doing another Parosmia video in January. So peace and blessings.